What is going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to talk to you about Opendoor. I want to go over some of the current data points, break it down on what is really moving it, and go over everything else you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up, and with that, let's get right to it. So Opendoor is up 9.51%, 187 the low, 220 the high, somewhat low volume, so 161 million shares being traded, 227 is the average. So definitely a good way for Opendoor investors to kind of end the week. Not necessarily for the broader market, because aside from TLT and NEO, everything else is very much in the red. So today definitely does suck. A lot of that does stem to kind of the tariffs, but nonetheless, today there hasn't been any SEC filings, no press releases or anything along those lines. But for those of you that have actually been following my channel, looking at my videos, I have often enough brought up Nasdaq. So Nasdaq compliance is a very big catalyst. And on Nasdaq's website, they actually did remove Opendoor as being deficient. So deserving of a round of applause, even though it has not been officially announced yet. Opendoor is fully clear of any deficiencies, so it is compliant, rubber stamp, good to go. Most likely, there might be some document that comes out probably Monday or maybe after hours today, but nonetheless, market definitely is liking that. So you can only imagine if today wasn't a gong show, how high Opendoor would have really gone. At the time of doing this video though, shorts are still increasing 1.59 million shares. First thing, they were hitting Opendoor really hard. Clearly didn't really do all that much, but at the peak, they were increasing 31.7 million shares. So again, going back over here, of the 161 million, like there is a huge chunk associated to shorts. So when it comes down to it, you can only imagine, like I said, how high it would be if there wasn't this much blood. Shorts would be really effing up quite a lot and freaking out. But aside from that, looking at options, 7.92 million in calls, 3.06 million in puts. 53% of all the options being done today are bullish in nature. So there's a little bit more of a optimism still on the table, which is always good. From the bulls standpoint, there's a consensus going into next week for it to be above 3, and then the bears are anticipating for it to be sub 2. So given the fact that we are at 2 already, there's definitely a lot more upside. With today being Friday, just take note of this. So ideally, best case scenario, it does close above 2, or I guess best case scenario, it closes above 3. But nonetheless, there is 28,000 at that $2 strike price in open interest, 12,000 at the $1.50, 49,000 at that $2.50, and then 39,000 at that 3. So this is why shorts did really hit it hard first thing to try to break it below $2. There's roughly around 30 minutes left in the trading day. So best case scenario, it does close, I guess right now at 2 or above. Then that way you'll have the 28,000 plus the 12,000, meaning there will be a nice little bump up come next week, as market makers will have to cover this. So just at the $2 strike price, that works out to be 2.8 million shares. Like I said, it would have been better for it to close above 3, but can't pick them all, I guess. But aside from that, you are seeing a lot of big transactions occurring on the dark pool. So this is hedge funds legitimately buying. So I think just institutions were waiting for this news, even though technically has not been officially announced. There's clearly a lot of individuals like myself really looking at the Nasdaq website for updates. So definitely good to see. Again, most likely once it is official and Opendoor actually does put the news out that they are now compliant with the Nasdaq, I can only imagine now retail will jump all over that and really push it higher. So let me know your thoughts on that in the comments below. On a technical level, with it at 202, it is slightly below this S1, so 207 is going to be a key pivot, and that's pretty much no different than the last week and a half. It's all been that, so that's been something I've been stating for a good support, now a resistance point, so just kind of generally watch for that. Aside from that though, no new analyst ratings, no real articles really coming out associated to Opendoor. Just oddly enough, a lot of articles are coming out saying that today's push higher is because it's a squeeze, and that's again wrong information because shorts are increasing right now, and the real reason why it's actually higher is because of the compliance aspect. So let me know your general thoughts on Opendoor. I know this is a relatively shorter video, but I just wanted to kind of pop on and give you a summary of exactly what is influencing it and everything else. But stay tuned for my weekend video. So I'll go over some expectations for their upcoming earnings, which in case you do not know is on the 5th after hours. So -2 cents for the earnings per share, 1.5 billion for the revenue, and then earnings per share revisions over the last 90 days, 5 positive and 0 negative. So overall, going into the upcoming earnings, it is relatively optimistic. The most it's been in a very long time. So stay tuned for my video over the weekend where I'll go over everything that you need to know. But yeah, today's a pretty good day. Let me know your general thoughts on Opendoor. Have you been buying? Have you been selling? What's your kind of 2 cents on all that? And for those of you that do believe that it's still a squeeze play, what have you been doing? Have you been buying long call options, leaps, or whatever else? So yeah, let me know your viewpoint on Opendoor. And then one final thing, if you're looking for some solid buy signals, pop over to my Patreon. I give buy signals on stocks, options, crypto, many of which have been absolutely on point. Definitely worthwhile to pop over there and take a look. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.